Just got home from work, and it's storming and it's snowing, and you can maybe see the waves out there a little bit. And I just thought, what a perfect time, what a perfect opportunity to do a reading. All right, first card already came out. High Priestess. It's a pretty, it's a heck of a start. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the wind and the storm outside, or the wind raging, but it's awesome. Had a heck of a Monday. I don't know about y'all. I haven't even changed out of my work clothes yet. You know, that's how as excited I was to do this reading. What else we got? What does the storm have to say? Interestingly enough, Two of Pentacles. And, well, that's what I wanted to point out. But look at the waves. And we got waves out there. Oh, you can't quite see. You can see a little bit. It's wavy. I guess you'll just have to take my word for it. Eventually, I'll have the filming where you'll be able to see somehow. Wow, Queen of Cups. Jumped right out. And interesting, that's two cards. The High Priestess is a 2. The Two of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups. A lot of water. The World. I don't know what's going on. Ending of some sort of cycle. The world. The world is changing. Oh, it's got to come out. Like that. Ace of Swords. I'm seeing this High Priestess card. I'm noticing at the bottom here, this looks like water flowing over that moon. I don't think I've ever actually noticed it like that. But doesn't her gown look like it's this water? It's actually really cool now that I look at it. So a lot of water. A lot of blue on these cards. And wow, what do we have? At the bottom of the deck is man going across the boat. Six of Swords. The Fool, the Moon, the Chariot, the Empress. I thought this was just going to be a little 2-bit quickie reading, but this is turning into something much deeper. So my clue is the Six of Swords, which is transitioning. I'm reading it as transitioning to a new land. I'm also reading these swords as your lessons learned. You're taking that with you to your new place, to wherever you're going. Like, yes, you're moving, but you have these swords, right? These things that you learned. And isn't that cool when you go to a place that you've learned, that you have knowledge from somewhere else that's kind of, it's different than where you're going to. Like, so let's just say you lived in the desert and then you moved to the city, right? You have certain skill sets, you have certain knowledge from living in the desert that like people in the city have no idea about, and it's always cool, it's always powerful, right? People are like, wow, where'd you learn that? Or holy smokes, or they, maybe no one even has to say anything, it's just a unique skill, and it always stands out, and you might be took that shit for granted, you think, well, of course, we always carry water or whatever it is, that's a no-brainer, but maybe where you're going, these skills aren't known. I mean, for me, the obvious is I've mentioned before is I've done prison time for a fair amount, several years, and obviously you learn things there that are pretty incredible. I took the opportunity to learn as much as I could from everybody, just to learn. I wasn't planning on coming back, so I figured I might as well learn. Good things, bad things, everything in between. And it helps me all the time, especially when it comes to reading people or dealing with people. The things I learned in prison were, it almost makes it unfair because I just, you had to use those things to survive, so you get good at it, and it's second nature when you're around regular people, right? So I feel like that's what you got here. You have these things, so maybe take stock of these things, um, and look at the Ace of Swords too. We have the Ace of Swords, so you have a new one. I mean, that's a powerful one, and I'm seeing the crown. So it's like your sovereignty, right? The crown is like your power, your claim to throne, your freedom, your autonomy, but not just your freedom or your autonomy, but like the device that gives that. So maybe it's the knowledge, right? It's your skill set. It's whatever that sets you apart. Um, I've also recently learned that it's like those are Hebrew letters on either side of the sword, and being that there's three on either side, that means balance. So maybe it's balancing things that is giving you this power. But we have the High Priestess, the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and outside it is calm down. So what I'm getting here, when I see the High Priestess, like I said, the water, you see the moon, I feel like you're using, that's very like your spiritual power. So you went to your spiritual side instead of just using logic, and instead of just banging your head through it. You went deep, you tapped in, meditated, whatever it was, went out in nature. Maybe it had something to do with water. Maybe you took lots of baths. Um, you know, nice soaks. However it was, you went deep and you found what you needed to make this decision, because there's those tumultuous waters in the background. And doing this is the total Queen of Cups, right? Going deep, getting out of your head, mastering your emotions. A lot of water here as well. So you're using those emotions, and mastering them, not letting them move you around. And I feel like you look good doing it too. There's a power in the Queen of Cups, and this is completing a cycle. This is putting an end to a chapter of your life, probably a big one, because there's a lot of emotions. Then there's probably a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I'm also noticing the Leo, and in a previous video we talked about the lion here as being that shadow, that beast that you had to tame. And I also see the eagle. you know, and the eagles came out before too. Actually, what made me film this video is there was an eagle flying low across the water right above the waves, and I don't know, inspired me to do the video, even though I had no idea what I was even going to do. Um, so that this is closing. This is closing. You're in the process of closing this chapter. You know, when we talk about closing a cycle, it's not like, you know, it's not like closing the door or you shut it and it's over. It's completing a cycle. I heard this from someone else, so I'm stealing it. Closing a cycle is a cycle in and of itself, right? It's not as simple as flicking a switch on and off. Even flicking a switch on and off, right? You still have like the mental idea that, okay, I want to turn the light on or off. You have to move over there to it. You have to initiate it, right? Those are all those like little micro actions, um, and that's a really crummy analogy, but uh, closing a cycle is its own cycle, and that's, I feel like, what we've been talking in the last couple of videos. And doing that is empowering you, right? It's setting you free. It's giving you the knowledge. It's giving you the sovereignty. You're like, yes, I finally beat this board. I finally beat this MF and boss, you know, that I've been working on. I mean, boss like in a video game. I'm not talking about the boss at your job. Um, you know, maybe you beat him too. I don't know. Uh, but you know, you seized that authority. Look at that. Wow, look at that imagery. You seized it. You did it. This is not a small thing. It's not something nebulous. It's very concrete, even though it's maybe something that's emotional and in the feeling state. And then there you go with those swords, and then here you are. That's you moving on. And notice you don't have to do anything. Okay? Once you did that, now the divine is taking care of you. Right? They're paddling you. You just sit down and you take your swords and you're going off to the new place where you could take this knowledge. It wasn't just for anything. It wasn't just to do it. It's going to help you. It's going to be very important for your next cycle, your next part of life. I don't know. I feel like we got to get. And also underneath that six of, oh, look at that. So underneath the six of swords was the fool. That's, I mean, really, if you think about it, right? You're going to this new land, and then here's your new beginning, right? I don't know if you don't know a lot about tarot, like the fool is your new beginning. Like this is your soul, or this is you, your new life. Um, there's a lot of imagery here. I'm not going to go into it, but it's your new beginning, right? Card zero, even though it's technically not card zero, um, you know, but it's the new beginning, and that starts after, you know, when you land here. There's the fool, right? And then underneath that is the moon, the chariot, so movement. And then, of course, Aphrodite shows up as the Empress. She's been making her way in every single reading I've done lately. But anyways, let's get some. Oh, look at it on the split. Ten of Swords, another ending, right? That's over. A few facts about the Ten of Swords is he's actually holding up the peace sign. So even though he's dead, it's like it's all good. It's all good. But let's get a few more cards. I'll just do a quick shuffle and see what else we got. And I should say that the storm kind of calmed down out there. I was very disappointed. I was hoping to get something on film. Oh, here it go. So let's see. Let's get some. Let's get like 2-3 more. Let's see what else we can get on this energy. Oh my goodness, the Emperor. So that's you. That's you being the boss, right? Page of Wands. Powerful cards lately. Eight of Pentacles. putting in work at the new beginning, the new gig. Wow, I didn't even see this other one slipped out. So we got the Emperor, Page of Wands, Eight of Pence, and then at the same time popped out Three of Cups and the Justice snuck in there. So basically, I just feel like this clarifies this is this is your new beginning. You're sitting with those swords, right? Those lessons you learned. Now you're the Emperor, right? Now you show up completely different in this new situation. Maybe it's an even new place. Maybe you're moving. Um, and you look like the Emperor, right? Because you have all these skills. You learn this lesson, and you just carry yourself differently because you feel better. You love yourself now. You've established some things. You've learned this lesson. It's a big lesson. So you carry yourself like the Emperor. Now there's this fiery new um, possibility you have, and it's more than just a possibility. There's actually something there, right? He might be young and naive, but he's still a real thing, and yeah, you can get to work building this new beginning, building this new beginning. And that might include other people, and you have this knowledge to not let this kind of thing happen again. And you got Three of Cups and Three of Pentacles on the bottom, so that pretty much speaks for itself. That's beautiful. I feel like all these readings that I've had, like one leads into the other. So keep up the good work. This is beautiful, and I hope you enjoyed it.